This immense object in the field over there with lights that were spinning, and it was something we had never seen before. It took up most of this valley, and it was just hovering. It was just hovering, and we were mesmerized.
Unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, have long fascinated the human imagination. Across decades, people in the Pacific Northwest and beyond have reported sightings of strange phenomena in the skies. Lights that move erratically, shapes that defy aerodynamics, and crafts that disappear in the blink of an eye. These accounts, whether told with hushed awe or skeptical bemusement, reflect a profound question. Are we truly alone in the universe?
Walking along, and all of a sudden we looked up and there was an object.
Gloria Bonacci. The answer began to take shape on a quiet evening decades ago. She and her friend Mary were walking along the fields of Whidbey Island when something extraordinary happened. All of a sudden, we looked up, and there it was, an object, football-shaped, with glowing red lights. It seemed to appear from nowhere, a silent visitor suspended in the sky. They ducked behind a fence, their hearts racing as the object moved swiftly, its trajectory changing with an agility unlike any known aircraft. It hovered briefly, almost as if observing them, before shooting off toward the bluff and vanishing into the horizon. We were terrified, Gloria admits, but also mesmerized. It was like nothing we had ever seen before. Years later, she remains convinced of what she saw that day. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a helicopter. It was something other. Not far from Gloria's sighting, another Whidbey Island resident and former NASA scientist, Dr. Dick Haynes, spent years exploring similar mysteries.
Do they fly? Well, some do and some don't, right?
A dedicated skeptic in his early years, Haynes eventually found himself drawn to what he prefers to call unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Unlike the term UFO, which conjures images of flying saucers and little green men, UAP reflects a more scientific approach to the unknown. Haynes explains, the term UFO assumes it's a flying object, but we don't even know if it's an object. Some phenomena might not fly. They hover, glide, or move in ways that don't conform to our understanding of physics. UAP keeps the discussion grounded in observation rather than speculation. Over the years, Haynes compiled hundreds of anonymous reports from pilots, individuals with years of experience in the skies who swore they'd encountered something inexplicable. The stories I heard blew me away. These were trained professionals, not prone to flights of fancy, yet they described encounters that challenged everything I thought I knew about aviation. The Pacific Northwest, with its dense forests, sprawling coastlines, and vast open skies, has long been a hotspot for UAP sightings. Even before the infamous Roswell incident of 1947, people in the region reported strange occurrences. Perhaps the most famous of these early accounts came from a pilot named Kenneth Arnold. On June 24, 1947, Arnold was flying near Mount Rainier when he noticed a series of silvery, disc-like objects darting through the sky. He described their motion as akin to saucers skipping across water, inadvertently coining the term flying saucer. His sighting captured national attention and marked the beginning of America's modern fascination with UFOs. Yet, just 3 days earlier, another, lesser-known incident had unfolded in the waters near Puget Sound. This event, known as the Maury Island incident, remains shrouded in mystery and controversy. Harold Dahl, a Tacoma man who worked on a salvage boat, was out on Puget Sound with his son Charles, their dog Sparky, and 2 dock workers. As they approached Maury Island, they saw something extraordinary. 6 donut-shaped objects hovering above their boat. One of the crafts seemed to malfunction, sending a cascade of molten debris raining down. According to Dahl, the hot slag burned his son's arm, killed their dog, and left their boat damaged. In a panic, they steered the vessel to shore, seeking refuge among the island's cliffs. The next day, Dahl's story took an even stranger turn. A man dressed in black visited him, urging him to keep quiet about what he had seen. "You would be wise to forget this incident," the man reportedly warned. While Dahl later claimed the story was a hoax, filmmaker Steve Edmiston, who created a documentary about the incident, remains intrigued. Whether or not it was a hoax, the Maury Island story has all the hallmarks of a classic UAP encounter, he says. Today, the town of Burien, near the site of the Maury Island incident, celebrates its connection to the unexplained with an annual event. The Burien UFO Festival. Part block party, part cosmic celebration. The festival draws people from all walks of life. True believers, skeptics, and those who simply enjoy the whimsy of it all. "It's a day to celebrate the weird and wonderful," says a local resident, dressed in an alien-themed costume. "We may not know the truth about UFOs, but that doesn't mean we can't have fun imagining the possibilities." For those who have experienced UAP sightings firsthand, the events often leave a profound emotional impact. Susan Gonzalez, another Whidbey Island resident, vividly recalls her own encounter as a child. Like Gloria Bonacci, she witnessed a strange object hovering silently in the sky.
It's not craziness. They're here. They've been here a long time.
Dick Haynes took both women's stories seriously, conducting separate interviews and asking them to draw what they had seen. Remarkably, their sketches were nearly identical, depicting a football-shaped craft with glowing lights. They didn't know each other, and they didn't influence each other's accounts, Haynes explains. That kind of consistency is hard to dismiss. Despite decades of sightings, the scientific community remains divided on the issue of UAPs. While some researchers dismiss the phenomena as misidentified aircraft, weather balloons, or natural atmospheric events, others believe they warrant serious study. Back in 2013, something truly bizarre lit up the skies over Seattle. An eerie, unexplained sight that still leaves people talking. A local managed to catch it on camera, and while the footage wasn't crystal clear, it was enough to send shivers down spines. The object hovered high above the city, impossibly high, where regular planes don't just linger like that. It wasn't just the sight of it that made people uneasy. It was the sound. A faint, droning hum accompanied its movements, audible even at such a distance. The person filming had to zoom out to give context, showing the vastness of the sky and city below, but doing so made the object appear smaller and blurrier. Even then, there was no mistaking it. This wasn't a plane, a drone, or anything that made sense. It floated effortlessly, almost like it was surveying the city, and then made these sharp, unnatural movements that sent chills through anyone watching. Was it watching us? Was it testing something? Nobody knew. In another incident from 2013, a man took a series of photographs that quickly became one of the most debated UFO sightings of the decade. Using his high-powered telescope, he was observing the moon, a hobby he had enjoyed for years. On this particular night, he saw and photographed a giant disc-shaped object hovering near the lunar surface. He uploaded the images to YouTube, where they quickly attracted thousands of views, but a deliberate attempt to suppress the evidence. This raised questions about the nature of the object he had captured, and the lengths authorities might go to keep such sightings hidden. The man had been an amateur astronomer for years, captivated by the mysteries of space. His interest in the moon had grown over time, as he believed it might hold secrets beyond what was publicly known. In 2013, he used his high-powered telescope to explore the familiar craters and lunar plains. During his observation, something unusual caught his attention. A large, disc-shaped object hovering near the moon's surface. It wasn't a small speck or a shadow, but a clearly visible structure standing out. The object had a smooth, metallic-looking surface and a disc shape that resembled the classic UFOs often reported throughout history. He took several photographs of the object, capturing its position and shape as it seemed to shift slightly in his viewfinder. Feeling both excited and nervous, he knew these images were unlike anything he had ever captured. Without delay, he uploaded the photos to his YouTube channel, where he shared his astronomical observations and discoveries with a small community of enthusiasts. This time, the response was immediate and overwhelming. Within hours, the video showing the UFO near the moon began to go viral, drawing viewers from across the globe. People were fascinated by the clarity and detail of the images, which stood out compared to the usual blurry or vague photos that accompany UFO sightings. The images revealed a well-defined circular object that appeared much closer to the moon than any satellite or human-made object typically would. Others debated whether the object could be an advanced human spacecraft or a secret satellite. A few skeptics argued that the images might be digitally altered or caused by a trick of light and shadow, but most viewers were convinced he had captured something extraordinary. In this case, the clarity of his photos made the evidence particularly compelling. Unlike the typical grainy, low-resolution images from UFO sightings, his high-powered telescope had captured what looked like a structured metallic object, which made it harder to dismiss as a natural anomaly or optical illusion. Supporters of his claim began to dig deeper into his background as an amateur astronomer, checking his previous uploads to assess his credibility. They found that his channel had been active for years, featuring dozens of videos about his passion for astronomy, with none of his prior uploads being controversial. The images might have been removed to prevent panic or exposure of a long-kept secret. Another theory proposed that the object was a secret human-made craft, possibly linked to a classified space program or military project. Supporters speculated that it could be a new type of spacecraft or space station designed for lunar orbit, meant for surveillance or experiments. If this were true, the deletion of his video might have been an effort to stop sensitive information from leaking. Skeptics, however, believed the deletion could have been a coincidence or an automated response to the sudden surge in activity on his channel. They suggested that YouTube's algorithm might have flagged the video due to the rapid increase in views and comments. Some suggested that the object in the photographs could have been a digital glitch or a misidentification, but these explanations did not convince many who believed the photograph was genuine. The case of the disappearing video and the giant disc-shaped UFO photographed near the moon remains unsolved. The sudden deletion of his YouTube channel and the absence of a clear explanation have only fueled speculation about a cover-up. While skeptics continue to question the authenticity of the images, those who support the man's claims see this as another example of how evidence of extraterrestrial activity is being hidden. His story highlights how easily digital evidence can be erased or altered today, raising concerns about transparency and accountability when it comes to sharing discoveries that challenge mainstream views. Whether the object he photographed was an alien spacecraft, a secret human-made vehicle, or just an anomaly, the truth remains unclear. The mystery of the disc-shaped UFO near the moon persists, leaving both skeptics and believers to question what might really be out there. In the weeks after the sudden disappearance of the man's YouTube channel, the controversy surrounding his sighting grew as more people learned about the photographs he had taken, a large disc-shaped object hovering near the moon. UFO enthusiasts and researchers began comparing his images to other well-known UFO sightings. One of the most notable comparisons was to the NASA tether incident, a famous event from 1996 in which mysterious objects were captured on camera by NASA during a space mission. Observers noted that the object in his photograph closely resembled the so-called tether UFOs seen in footage from that incident. The NASA tether incident occurred during the STS-75 mission of the Space Shuttle Columbia in 1996. The mission's main goal was to deploy a tethered satellite system for scientific experiments, but things took an unexpected turn when the tether broke and drifted away from the shuttle. While initially seen as a failure, what followed caught the attention of UFO enthusiasts around the world. As the broken tether floated through space, cameras aboard the shuttle captured footage of dozens of unidentified objects seemingly surrounding the tether. These objects, described as bright disc-shaped forms, were referred to by some as donut-like or circular, with a distinct translucent quality. They moved in unusual patterns, often hovering and shifting at different speeds, leading some to suggest that the movements were deliberate, possibly indicating intelligence. NASA, however, explained the objects as ice particles, debris, or camera glitches, but many observers remained skeptical. For years, the footage of the NASA tether incident has sparked debates among researchers and UFO enthusiasts who claim the objects in the video can't be explained by conventional means. The striking similarity between these objects and the one captured in 2013 led many to believe that it could be evidence of the same type of UFO, or perhaps the very same objects that appeared in the 1996 footage. Comparing the photographs with the NASA tether footage revealed several key similarities. Both the 2013 object and the tether UFOs had a distinct disc shape, often appearing translucent or glowing faintly, as if made of some unknown material or energy source. The edges of these discs were smooth and rounded, contributing to their unusual appearance. Additionally, the behavior of the object in 2013, as shown in the images, mirrored the behavior of the objects in the NASA footage. In the tether video, the objects seemed to emit or reflect light in a way that didn't align with simple debris or ice particles. Some even appeared to pulsate or radiate energy. Similarly, the photos from 2013 showed beams of light coming from the object, suggesting the presence of a controlled energy source or propulsion system. The shared characteristics between the 2013 object and the tether UFOs led to increased speculation among those familiar with the 1996 event. Many believed these images offered further evidence that the disc-shaped objects weren't just space debris or camera glitches, but possibly intelligently controlled craft. If the same type of objects were spotted both in 1996 and in 2013, it pointed to a potential pattern of activity, perhaps involving surveillance or monitoring of Earth by unknown entities. The similarity between the 2013 UFO and the tether incident only added to the growing suspicion of a cover-up. The NASA tether incident has been a controversial topic, with critics accusing NASA of downplaying or hiding the true nature of what was captured on camera. For those who believed the man's photographs showed the same objects, the sudden removal of his YouTube channel seemed like further proof of an effort to suppress information about these unidentified entities. Some researchers suggested that the objects in both incidents were part of a coordinated surveillance operation by extraterrestrial intelligence. The Moon, being a nearby celestial body of strategic importance, could serve as a base or observation point for these entities. The man's photographs, which clearly showed the object near the Moon, supported theories proposing that the Moon has been used as a hub for extraterrestrial activity hidden from Earth's direct view. The idea of UFOs near the Moon isn't new. In fact, reports of strange lights and objects around the Moon go back to the 19th century and even earlier. Astronomers like Johann Hieronymus Schröter, a German astronomer in the 18th century, recorded what they called luminous points on the lunar surface. Others, like the famous astronomer Sir William Herschel, reported seeing glowing spots they thought could be volcanic activity. Though the technology of their time limited their ability to view the moon in detail, these early observations fueled the intrigue surrounding lunar anomalies. So, what are your thoughts on these mysteries? Tell us in the comments below, and stay tuned for more videos.